Hello everyone, this is Module 4, Infancy, on Lifespan Development. So we have physical growth and development in infants. Why understand human development during infancy? Infancy is a time when tremendous growth, coordination, and mental development occur. If you remember last time during the orientation, di ba sinabi ko na infancy at saka yung adolescent stage yung importanteng pag-aralan or doon tayo magfo-focus when we are studying developmental psychology because in this stage, this is a time when for the tremendous growth and coordination. Researchers have given this part of the lifespan more attention than any other period because of the changes during this time are so dramatic, and so noticeable. We know that much of what happens during these years provides a foundation for one's life to come. However, it has been argued that the significance of development during these years has been overstated. Nevertheless, this is a period of life that contemporary educators, healthcare providers, and parents have focused on quite heavily. So what really happens during infancy and adolescence, no? Lalo na infancy, no? Meron siyang bearing sa paglaki ng bata. Okay, this picture, no, this is my firstborn, no, via CS. Na-incubator siya, tapos yun, no, nakatingin yung tatay niya, happy-happy, di ba? Sinishare ko lang. Okay, this is naman a photo of my firstborn in the neonatal intensive care unit. She was placed in the incubator kasi premature siya, no, 35 weeks ko siyang nilabas. Okay, let's talk about overall physical growth. No, first we have birth weight and length. The normal weight range is 5 pounds and 8 ounces to 8 pounds and 13 ounces. That's approximately yung 5 pounds 8 ounces, that's 2.5 kilograms. Tapos yung 8 pounds and 13 ounces, that would be 4 kilograms. The average length of a newborn is 19.5 inches. No, that would increase to 29.5 inches by 12 months and 34.4 inches by 2 years old. The babies lose approximately 5% of body weight in the first few days. What happens? Kasi di ba yung sa elimination, yung sa waist, no? Tapos mag-adjust pa sila dun sa mga feeding. That's just normal. This often goes unnoticed by most parents but can be cause for concern for those who have smaller infants. And then the physical proportion, yung head to body ratio niya, the head comprises 25% of total length at birth. So if you're going to divide yung bata into 4, no, 1/4 nun, yun yung total length, I mean yung head niya. Okay, this is the actual record nung second baby ko, no. Maliit siya kasi by 2 weeks nasa 3 kilograms siya. Nung pinanganak siya, she's only 2.5 kilograms. Kulang pa nga siya sa normal. I mean, pasok pa rin siya sa normal. Pero pag bumaksak pa, hindi na. So this is a monthly, di ba pagka sa vaccination, may check-up yung mga bata. So, August ko siya pinanganak. Ito yung record niya ng September, October, November, December, January, and February. If you would notice, no, yung weight niya 4.13, yung September head circumference 34 cm, yung length niya is 55 cm. So, the next month, 57 cm, naging 60, naging 62, naging 65, and then naging 67. So, parang 2 cm per month ang kanyang laki. And then the head circumference, no, you start with 34, naging 36, naging 38, naging 39, naging 40, naging 41. So, pwedeng 1 centimeter per month yung laki. Diba? So, pinalalaki, no? Minomonitor yung weight, yung length, tapos yung head circumference ng infant. Okay, I'll share again. This is the growth chart, no, sa height. nung sa baby ko, no? If you would notice, yung green na line, no, that's the 0. Yun yung, asan ba? Teka lang. Pwede ba tayong mag-highlighter? No, itong 0. This one. This is the average. No, yung sa length, okay siya. She started as average, pero medyo umangat siya ng konti. Kaya okay. Yung kanyang length. Pagka nandun ka sa red, ito yung sinasabi na 20% percentile. No, mababa. Medyo maliit yung bata. Tapos lalo na kapag ka nandun ka sa my 3. Pagka nandun ka naman sa 2, yung sa higher, no? Above average yung baby mo, yung length niya mataas. Lalo na kapag ka nandun sa 3. Okay, next we have the girls' weight for age. No, this is by the World Health Organization. So let's try to look at the weight of my baby. Nandun siya, mababa lang naman. Yung sa 0, no, yung pagkapanganak niya, no, simula birth hanggang like 8 months, nandun siya sa ilalim ng average. So, mahirap talaga siyang patabain. Kailan lang siya nag-increase or naging above average? After 1 year. No, medyo tumaas na siya. Bumigat pala. Okay, we are monitoring physical growth, no? Meron tayong term, failure to thrive or FTT. FTT is a term given to malnourished infants and young children who fail to meet expected standards of growth. FTT is a common problem in pediatrics affecting 5% to 10% of young children and approximately 3% to 5% of children admitted to hospitals. FTT is more common in children living in poverty and foster care and affects 15% of this group. May mga bata na hirap, no, kahit na anong maraming factor bakit malnourished sila or hindi nila na-meet yung expected standard of growth. Pwedeng may problema sa pamilya. Isang factor na nga doon yung poverty, no? Tsaka foster care, lalo na yung mga bata na nasa ampunan nung hindi sila masyadong naalagaan. Okay, next. We have brain growth the first 2 years. Growth, no, the physical size of brain increases. At birth, brain is 25% of the adult weight, and then at 2 years old, 75% siya. Some of the most dramatic physical change that occurs during this period is the brain. No, at birth, the brain is about 25% of its adult weight, and this is not true for any other part of the body, no? Continuous yung growth ng brain natin. By age 2, it is at 75% of its adult weight, at 95% by age 6, and at 100% by age 7. So we have the neural development. Most neurons are present at birth, no? They are not fully developed. Communication within the central nervous system, which consists of the brain and spinal cord, begins with a nerve cell called neurons. Neurons connect to other neurons via a network of nerve fibers called axons and dendrites. Diba ito yung axon, yung elongated part. And then dendrite yung parang tree. No, yung mga may branches. Okay, we have this term, no, transient exuberance. This is a period of prolific dendritic connections. And then we have myelinization or myelin sheath. Ito, no, yung green part. These are the fatty cells that protect the axons. It speeds neural transmission. And then we have pruning. Unused connections are eliminated in favor of much used connection. Next. So this is an example of transient exuberance. So try to look at the brain or the neuron, no, at birth. Konti lang siya. By 3 months, no, dumami na. Siguro ang dami nitong naririnig. Kasi usually it's the auditory that's develop pagka sa bata. By 15 months, sobrang dami. Because during this time, yung bata, marami na siyang nakikita, no? Develop na rin yung kanyang visual cortex. Kaya, syempre, mas connected na yung mga neurons niya sa brain. I'll just read this one. This is the transient exuberance. The phenomenon increase in neural connections over the first 2 years have been called transient exuberance, meaning you use it or you lose it. If too many stress hormones are produced early on, cortisol is released and the developing brain becomes incapable of normal stress response. So, importante rin na hindi natin i-stress yung mga bata kasi kapag na-stress yung bata, magre-release ng hormone na cortisol. Tapos yung developing brain niya, it becomes incapable of normal stress responses, meaning magiging na siyang excited. Ibig sabihin, laging excite yung brain ng bata. May tendency na magkaroon siya ng emotional irritability or hypervigilance kasi parang laging may threat sa environment niya, kaya siya na-stress. Meron tayong tinatawag na shaken baby syndrome. Babies get quiet because of broken blood vessels, broken neural connections, that cause lifelong arrest in development, no? Like this one, hypervigilance and emotional irregularity. What is shaken baby syndrome? When the baby is violently shaken and blood vessels erupt in the baby's brain. So, hindi pwede na sinishake mo yung mga baby. Halimbawa, kapag ka nagpapatulog ka, o kaya yung ibang bata mistreated, no? Hindi marunong mag-alaga ng baby that they shake the baby most of the time. Brain functions that require basic common experiences to grow are called experience-expectant brain functions. Brain functions that depend on particular and variable experience in order to grow are called experience-dependent. Some infants may not acquire these experiences. Early brain growth is rapid and reflects experience. Each part of the brain has its own sequence for growth. The last part of the brain to mature is the prefrontal cortex, and it plays a role in anticipation planning and impulse control. I think you are familiar with this, no? Diba? You have the neuron sa gitna, you have the axon, and then the myelin sheath. You have the axon, no? Tapos nagre-release siya at the end ng neurotransmitter, and you have the synapse or intersection between an axon and dendrite. These are neurotransmitters carry information from one neuron to another. Ito yung nade-develop dun sa bata, lalo na kapag na-stimulate siya, no? Stimulated yung environment. So this is the developing cortex. Look at this, no? Hindi pa ganun ka-corrugated or lukot-lukot yung brain ng bata kasi nga nagde-develop pa lang siya. The frontal cortex, the front part of the cortex, assists in planning, self-control, and self-regulation. It is very immature in newborn. No, yung capacity for planning, self-control, and self-regulation, wala. I mean, hindi pa siya immature. So, lahat yan talaga nakadepende dun sa mga nag-aalaga sa kanya. And then you have the cortex, the crinkled outer layer of the brain. It's colored here in pink, tan, purple, and blue. You have the auditory cortex. Hearing is quite acute at birth. The result of months of eavesdropping during the fetal period. Pag sinabing acute, ito yung talagang stimulated, no? Yung lagi siyang active. And then the visual cortex. Vision is the least mature sense at birth because the fetus has nothing to see while in the womb. No, kasi hindi pa rin talaga, di ba, pagka-baby, wala pang masyadong nakikita yan kasi hindi pa rin, ang nakikita pa niyan black and white. Hindi pa masyadong nade-develop yung mga nerves niya, no? You have the rods and the cones. No, rods since the black and white, and then the cones yung para makakita ng color. Vision is usually mature by 8 months. No, yung may sinasabi tayo na nangingilala. Kaya niya na-detect na kung sino yung nanay niya or yung tatay niya. Pero syempre, mas naririnig niya. Okay? We have appropriate stimulation. Experience expected brain growth. This refers to the young brain's rapidly developing organization, which depends on ordinary experiences, no? Opportunities to explore the environment, interact with people, and hear language. May sensitive period tong experience expected brain growth. Yung mga bata na nasa ampunan, yung mga batang hindi masyadong naaalagaan, kulang ng stimulation, no? Yung mga bata ron. Kasi kung pagka kulang na nag-aalaga sa kanila, walang masyadong stimulation, hindi na lalaro, hindi na Hindi nalalaro, hindi naaalagaan, hindi mo kinakausap yung baby, walang stimulation ng sound, walang stimulation ng touch, no, even smell, kulang na nga sa pagkain, no? Yung ganyan, meron yan sensitive period. And then meron tayong experience-dependent brain growth that occurs throughout our lives. It consists of additional growth and refinement of established brain structures as a result of specific learning experiences that vary widely across individuals and cultures. No, wala tong sensitive period niya kasi it occurs throughout our lives, no? So, ibig sabihin, kahit matanda ka na, malaki ka na, nagde-develop pa rin yung brain growth natin. Pero itong experience expected brain growth, like for example, no, sa language, kapag na-delay ka na ng pag-learn ng language, no, that's the experience expected. Diba? Rushing these experiences may overwhelm the brain, reducing the brain's experience, expected brain growth. So, mas maganda na hindi tayo nagra-rush nitong mga kind of experiences. Halimbawa, turuan mo siya ng algebra, no, na hindi pa niya kayang mag-algebra. Or language, no, turuan mo siya ng sabay-sabay ng Korean, English, Russian, Chinese, 'di ba? Ma-overstimulate yung bata. Brain development is influenced by maturation and experiences. Ito na rin yung kanina ko sinasabi. No, example ng experience expectant. No matter where an infant lives, he or she hears sounds and language. Example naman ng experience dependent, no? Brain functions depend on exposure to particular events. The particular sounds and language heard and learned varies across infants. Siyempre, pag nasa Amerika ka, English. Pagka nasa parte ka ng Visayas, Bisaya. Diba? The development of impulse control depends on both maturation and practice. Kapag ka hindi ka, yun nga yung sinasabi ko kanina, kapag ka walang sumasaway sa'yo, no, hindi mo makokontrol yung impulse ng isang infant. Okay, reactions to stress. Experiencing stress may cause overproduction of stress hormone. The developing brain can lose capacity to react normally to stress. Normal neuron connections may have been pruned for rapid response to repeated stress. Ibig sabihin yung na-prune na nawala na siya, no? Ibig sabihin, pag sinabing hindi na normal yung reaction mo sa stress, pwedeng nag-o-overreact ka na. No, konting, ano yun? Konting pindot lang sa'yo or konting kalabit lang sa'yo, no? Parang mang-aaway ka na. Kasi, hindi na malaman ng brain mo yung normal na response mo sa stress kasi lagi ka nang nai-stress, no? Kahit, sa bata ito, that's very not healthy. Okay, next we have motor development. We're going to talk about reflexes. Reflexes are inborn. Some are necessary for survival, like rooting reflex, breathing, sucking reflex. Some signify health development, like motor reflex, stepping reflex, and palmar grasp. I would suggest that you watch the video on reflexes included in the course site. No, madaming picture doon. Okay? So ito yun, no, yung mga other explanation for reflexes. It allows adaptation to environment. It provides opportunity to learn. Some disappear, like grasping, and some last throughout life, like coughing. So ito, tonic neck reflex, grasp reflex, step reflex, crawl reflex. We also have sucking reflex, automatic sucking object placed in newborn's mouth. Rooting reflex, reaction when infant's cheek is stroked or side of mouth is touched. Motor reflex, startle response in reaction to sudden intense noise or movement. And then grasping reflex. It occurs when something touches infant's palms. Infant response is to grasp tightly. Ito yung moro, no? Yung nagugulat sila. And then look at the arms. No, nag-extend out the arms and legs and cries, then pulls the arms and legs back in. It lasts up until 5 to 6 months. And then yung plantar or Babinski reflex. No, when you touch the inner sole of the baby's foot, no, nag-curl siya. And then the outer sole of the baby's foot naman, nag-spread out yung toes. Okay, let's talk about motor development, yung gross motor skill. It generally refers to movements involving larger muscles like those in the arms, legs, feet, or the entire body. These are the milestones in gross motor development, no? Ito, no? So, 0, 1, 2, 3, these are in months. Pagdating ng, ito, ano yung unang-una, no? By 1 month, no? Anong nangyayari sa kanya? Okay, naka-prone. Pwede siyang prone, lift head. No? Saan to? By 1 month. Prone chest up. Use arms for support. No, may mga lines siya. So, meaning it could happen between 2 months and 4 months. Yung rollover, it could happen between 2 months hanggang magfa 5 months. And then support some weight with legs. It can happen 3 months hanggang 6 months. And then sit without support, that is by 4.5 months by 8 months. And then you can stand with support, that's 5 hanggang 10 months. And then pull self to stand as early as 6 months. Pwede mo siyang makita or as late as 10. And then walk using furniture to support. Kailan to? 13 months. And then stand alone easily. No, 10 months hanggang 14 months. And then walk alone easily. Ito pwede to clash yung sinasabi ko, no? 11, no? When you walk alone easily, it can start by 11 months. By 12 months. At pwede rin by, hanggang 14 months. So, usually, yung mga baby, pagdating ng first birthday nila, pwede na silang kunan ng picture. Nasa harapan yung birthday cake nila. No? Pwede na nilang mag-isa nilang i-blow yung candle. Pero, iba, yung iba, hinahawakan pa rin. Okay, fine motor skills. This generally refer to movements involving smaller muscles like those in hands, wrists, and fingers. Yan. No, alam niyo ba yung game sa bata? Align, 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 'di ba? Yung ganyan. That's a good play para sa mga bata to exercise their fine motor skills. Okay, next, we have the timeline of developmental milestones. Importanteng malaman niyo to, class. Okay, so we have the age, no, 2 months, developmental milestone, can hold head upright on own, smiles at sound of familiar voices, and follows movement with eyes. By 3 months, they can raise head and chest from prone position, smiles at others, grasps objects, rolls from side to back. At 4 to 5 months, they bubbles, laughs, and tries to imitate sounds. Begins to roll from back to side. Okay, by 3 months, side to back, ha? Pag 4 to 5 months, no, from back to side naman. Yung 6 months, they moves object from hand to hand. Pwede na. And then 7 to 8 months, they can sit without support, may begin to crawl, responds to own name, finds partially hidden objects. Okay, by 8 to 9 months, walks while holding on, babbles mama and dada, they can clap. By 11 to 12 months, they can stand alone, begins to walk, says at least one word, can stack 2 blocks. By 18 months, walks independently, drinks from a cup, says at least 15 words, points to body parts. By year 2, they run and jump, uses 2-word sentences, follows simple instructions, and begins make-believe play. Okay, class, that's the end of the slide. I will send the slide yung kasunod nitong topic.